Welcome back to the channel. So if you have been following me on my Instagram, you've probably seen me uploading these short motion videos with some random objects. And today I'm gonna show you how you can make the Softbody objects from the random objects series. But before we get into the tutorial, I gotta say something. I can see that most of you guys are actually not subscribed. So if you like the video, then please go and subscribe, because it really helps me out making these videos. So without further ado, let me show you how to make soft bodies in Cinema 4D. So first of all, let's start out by making a cube. And this cube we're just gonna subdivide 2 times on each axis, like this. And then we can go and make it editable. Then we can go and select some random polygons on this cube. And then we'll go and press US for subdivide. So we get some of the faces that are subdivided and some that are lower subdivided. Then we can go and create a Moog extrude. And this Moog extrude we're gonna put underneath our cube. Then we're gonna set the steps to 1. We're gonna set the transform to 0. And then we can go into effectors and we can create a plane effector. And in this plane effector, we'll go and delete the Y value and we'll turn up the C value to 100. That should be fine. So now we have this weird looking thing, but we want to make it more random. So let's go into our fields options. Let's go and create a random field. And in this random field, I'm just gonna turn up the minimum a little bit. So we have a lot of high spots, but not a lot of low spots. Then we can go to our cube and we can make a subdivision surface. So now we have this weird looking blob, but we still need to define it. So I'm just gonna go to my Moog extrude here and I'm gonna set the extrusion steps to 2. And look at this, we have a much nicer shape. And the last thing we can do is just go into our subdivision surface and pull the subdivision to 3. So we get some nice rounding corners. Alright, so now we have our shape. So let's make it a soft body. So we'll just do that by going to our cube and we'll right click on our cube and we'll select current state to object. So now we can just delete our cube with our Moog extrude and we can delete our plane. So now I'm just gonna pull it inside of the subdivision surface and here we have our object baked. Alright, so let's go and pull it a bit up. And I'm just gonna make a plane as our collider. Let's scale it up a bit. Let's go and select a collider tag for the plane. And then we can go to our cube and we can select a soft body tag. And as you can see, it already made all of these constraints inside of our shape. And these constraints we're just gonna come back to in a second. So let's just see what we have created with the standard tag. And wow, that doesn't look very great at all. So let me just move the soft body to our subdivision surface. And yeah, that's a lot better. So one thing I'll just do, I'll just go here to my subdivision surface and I'm just gonna pull it down to 2 again. And that is so much smoother. So as you can see, we're getting these nice soft body dynamics. Okay, so if we go in here to our soft body tag, you can see we get all of these lines. And if we take the minimum length of our lines and we pull it up, then we'll get a soft body that's a lot more springy and a lot more soft. So these lines are constraints, and if you have more of them, then you will have a more stiff object, and if you have less of them, it's gonna be more soft. And Then I'm going to go to the balloon tab. And I'm just going to press the check mark here. And let's just see what that does. So it really makes it squishy. And it's exactly what we need. So we're just going to use this overpressure here to animate. So you can see if I pull it up, we get more of balloon type of stuff. And if I pull it down, we'll just be sucking it in. So let's go to our timeline down here by pressing this button. Let's move up. Let's press a keyframe here. Let's go to frame 10. And let's just set it to 4. And let's press keyframe. So as you can see over time, we're going to set the overpressure to 4. And it's really going to be expanding our shape. So another thing we can change is the expansion time. And if we set that to 5 frames, it's going to be really quick. And if we set it to 100 frames, it's going to be really, really slow at expanding our shape. So let's just set it to 5 frames. Let me just select our keyframes and I'll press Control and then dragging our keyframes. And let me just select everything and drag it out. All right. So as you can see, we have this bouncy movement and it's looking really nice, but it could be a lot better. So what we're gonna do is just take these keyframes, pull them forward a bit, and then I'm gonna make a keyframe right here. And I'm gonna set that to 0.5. All right. So if you take a look at our spline curve, you can see that we have a slow attack and then a sharp curve down. And we're just gonna recreate it over here. So I'm actually just gonna delete these. I'm going to expand on this and move it out here actually. So we have more of a curve. And then I'm just gonna hold down Control and then drag them out. And I'm just gonna delete this keyframe here. Yeah, you can see this is what we're actually looking for. So I'm also gonna be selecting this and moving it up. So we have a directional sine wave. So let's just see what's happening. That's a bit much. So I'm just gonna pull it down again. And I'm actually also gonna duplicate this keyframe down here. So we have a little bit more downtime. And I'm gonna move all of these keyframes out here. Just gonna make my timeline 200 frames. And I'm just gonna duplicate it. Duplicate it again. Pull it out here. Wow, it's looking so awesome. So what you could do is just bring down these pressure points here, because I think we're overpressing it too much. So yeah, this is so much better. And if you think it's too sloppy, then we can go into our Softbody and we can pull down the minimum length again so we get more lines and more structure. But I personally think it's much more fun when there's not a lot of structure. All right, so let's make it roll. So what we're gonna do is go up to our Simulate tab, then we can go to our wind. And for this wind, I'm just gonna see, yeah, it's moving in that direction. Just gonna close our keyframes. And it's moving this direction. All right, so let me just go and move our plane. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so it's moving a little bit, as you can see, but it's really not a lot. So let's just increase our wind speed. Okay, we need to increase it by a lot. Like 500. Yeah. That is definitely more like it. So let me make a camera for you. Let's make the focal length 85. And let's go and track this. So we'll just see where it is at the first frame here. And I can see that I just need to expand my plane a little bit. So let's go into our camera again. And let me just put put a keyframe right here. And then we'll just go and see where it ends up. So frame 200. And it ends up right here. All right. So let's make a keyframe again. So now we can go into our camera keyframes and we can just go and make them linear by pressing this button. All right. So let's just see how well we tracked our object. That is looking really nice. All right. So I'm just gonna zoom out a bit again to like 70 of a focal length. So if we want to smooth out these corners right here, we can actually just go and create another subdivision surface and we can set it to 1 in the subdivision. So that should be the same as before. And wow, that's looking really nice and really organic. So that was it for this Softbody tutorial. So this was just the first video in the Random Objects series. And if you want to see more, then please follow me down below so you get notified when I upload a new video. And if you decide to use this tutorial, then please DM me on Instagram and show me what you have done. The last thing to say is just go and enjoy the rest of your day and stay creative.